Yeah.
Awesome. I wanted to say something real quick before we got started and dug in. I am so grateful, and I love Nancy Stanfield more today than I've ever loved her. And let me tell you why. We are in the hurricane season. And you know what? I'm not worried about the hurricane season this year because Nancy is no longer in the home that we had to clean out multiple times because it flooded and it was hard work. So Nancy, I'm glad that you're no longer in that place because we spent a lot of time in that house. Oh man, the first time finding shrimp under the bed and everything else, it stunk. It was horrible. So anyway, she's probably going, oh my gosh. Anyway, all right, so let's go ahead and get started. Listen, couple things I'm gonna dig into and with consistency, right? Jamal's in the gym, right? Jamal, you know, he's exercising now. I don't want to interrupt that. But if Jamal wasn't consistent in the gym, hey bud. If Jamal wasn't consistent in the gym, he wouldn't get the results he's getting. If Jamal went to the gym one time and never went back again, he wouldn't get the results he's getting, correct? Right? People always say, you know, oh my gosh, how do you stay in shape like that? It's called consistency, and it sucks sometimes. You know, I have to get up and I have to go in the gym when I'm achy, sore, and I don't want to do it, and blah, 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 and blah, blah, blah. Well, and by the way, I don't want to look like you when I'm 60 because you're in the bar all day long and you got bad habits and you're crying and complaining about your life going in the crapper because you're not consistent in doing the right things to help yourself become better. Right? Become a better version of yourself and you become a better business person. How you show up for yourself is how you're going to show up in your business. And that's what consistency is that I want to dig into. Last week, I wasn't on the call last week, and July has just flown by. I had the opportunity to be in San Antonio with some of the most amazing people. And I want to dig in just quickly on that. Chad, I can never pronounce his last name, but if you guys want to watch the panel, it is on Brent Gove's YouTube page, and it's Jeff Williams' panel. I was on a panel with Chad, who did 1,600 transactions last year. Okay, I was on a panel with Amanda Hurd, who did 98 million last year and has a team in Indiana, and now Debbie in Sarasota. Right? So I introduced Curtis to, I don't know if you guys all made a connection. I was also on a panel with an amazing coach. Her name's Michelle Wilson. She was one of the top coaches with Mike Ferry. She had the largest independent brokerages in Washington, and she's had to overcome a massive adversity in her business career and she's only 39. So here's what I heard: consistent through every person on the panel. And by the way, we never met to go through this. It was kind of a, hey, here's going to be a topic. Let's dig into it. So Chad says, I believe you need to work double of what you did last year. And I think you need to be the most consistent in anything that you do to get the results you need. He says, my son is in the crowd. He just turned 18. He graduated in June from high school. He got his real estate license. He's now on my team. And just because he's my son, he doesn't get special treatment. Ro, how many dials did you make in the last 2 weeks? By the way, you can listen to this right on the, bless you. You can listen to this right on the YouTube. 1,900 dials in 2 weeks. 1,900 dials. Now, dials are different when you're on a dialer, right? It'll go to the next one, go to the next person. So Jeff goes, holy cow, 1,900 dials. Who in this room has done 1,900 dials? There's a couple thousand people in the room. Nobody raised their hand. So Ro stood up and Jeff says, Ro, did you know what you were saying? He goes, I had no idea. My dad told me here's a script to use, and I was reading the script on the phone. So when you read a script on a phone, you know it's not authentic on the other side because you think the person doesn't know what they're saying because they're reading the script. Coach Debbie and DJ and Claire will tell you that 100% from the amazing programs that they used to teach, which was bold. You have to internalize the script. Here's the result. You ready? 8 fully qualified buyers 8 fully qualified. By the way, these are not Zillow leads. Okay, 8 fully qualified buyers, ready, willing, and able to buy, qualified with the lender. And he's got 3 under contract. He's 18 freaking years old, 1,900 dials, guys. He had no idea what to do. He didn't even ask the question, what if they hang up on me? What if they yell at me? So then Jeff says, hey, how did they treat you on the phone? He goes, oh, I got called every name. I was yelled at. I was hung up on, and I just kept dialing. Right? So who is doing that? You know, we have this fear. So Infinite Games, that you guys talked about that last week. I wanna kind of dig into that, and then I want to go into the consistency.
Tom, can I just say something real quick?
Yeah, definitely.
I don't think the agents have to work harder this year. I have a colleague that is a phone animal. He calls expires. He called them before the pandemic. He called them during the pandemic. By the way, there weren't many. And He called them, you know, I looked at, on average, agents' businesses are down 30 to 40%. But this guy's a phone animal, right? So he has been on the phone before, during, and after. His business is down 10% because he's still calling. I don't believe that agents have to work harder. They have to work harder if they weren't making 10 to 20 dials a day last year. But I don't believe any agent on this call has to do anything other than have 10 to 20 conversations a day about real estate. Come hell or high water, in person, on the phone, in the Walmart, in the grocery store, at a networking event, at a party. If you can figure out a way to have 10 to 20, and I'm not even saying like asking for business, but every conversation you have, steering the conversation to real estate. So let me ask you real quick. Hey, Barbara, let me ask you real quick. What do you think about the real estate market? Like, I'm an expert and I know what's going on, but what do you think's going on in the real estate market? Love to hear your opinion. I'm out here surveying everybody I know about real estate. Now you've got them talking about real estate, and it increases the chance that you get to have can I help you conversation. If you weren't doing that last year, then yes, you're going to have to work twice as hard. But in my world, 10 to 20 conversations a day, all the other things. Should you post on social media? If you want to. Should you door knock? If that's a way to have the conversations, fine. Should you send postcards? If you want to. Again, is that going to cause a conversation? Maybe not today, but maybe in 3 months when you go knock doors. If you just focus on 10 to 20 conversations a day about real estate, I can promise you your world will change. And that's the only thing that you have to do to be successful in this market. Then do you want to get better at what you say and how you say it? For sure. But that will happen either by practicing on people, meaning having the conversations. You will slowly get better at what you say. You know, dive bomb for sale by owners open houses. If you're not holding an open house, go visit them. Go visit them. Now, is it ethical to take the people that are there as clients? Maybe. I've talked to for sale by owners at their open house and said, hey, with anybody that comes to your open, you know, building rapport, having a relationship, the open house starts. Hey, if any of these people wind up not buying your house, would it be okay if I tried to help them? 80% of the for sale by owners go, sure. They don't buy my house, sure. So I just want to, you know, we like Tiffany said, we complicate it. I got to be on TikTok. TikTok does not cause, yes, you can be on TikTok, but that causes conversations 8 months from now, which is fine, but it's not going to cause 20 in a day. No. It is a good idea to build up something that's going to lead generate for you, like video or a YouTube channel or TikTok or a social media group or a neighborhood group or farming. It's good to have those long range marketing plans. But if you want business, have 10 to 20 conversations a day. In bold, we said 20, but I know for many of you that have not been having consistent conversations, going from the number you've had to 20 seems monumental. But I promise you, the more you do it, if you say today I'm going to have 5, no matter what, I'm going to find 5 people to talk to about real estate. And then when that's easy, raise it to 10. When that's easy, raise it to 15. Now, if
Debbie,
you want to grow, you got to be on the north side of the 10 to 20, right? You got to be closer to 20 if you want to increase, if you do 10 to 20, that might just keep you at 10 to 20% off of last year. If you want to grow, you got to do more than that every day. If you want to do better than you did last year, but it is really simple. And I know you know this, Tom, right? This business is super simple, but it's the hardest thing that the agents don't want to do.
Yeah, because it's accountability. So
Debbie,
Michelle,
you guys, let's just say this. As a coach, I'll tell you, you scared me to death. But so go out and do 2 or 3 calls a day. 2 or 3. I don't care. Well, that's not 2. That's 2 and 3 or 3. Talk to 2 or 3 people a day. 10 sounds like, oh, that's a lot of people. But I don't care if you just do 1. What did you tell me the other day, Deb? If you call 3 people a day and one of them talks to you, that's 365 people if you did it every day. Now, let's say you don't. Let's say you only talk to 200. And we know the statistics are that, let's say 10% of the people that you know in your database that you just added there are going to be interested in real estate. So that's 20 additional sales by calling 3 people a day and talking to 1. So I'll let you off the hook, not 10. Just do something.
I love that. And here's the thing, DJ and Debbie, both, thank you. Because I just wrote some note. I was writing some notes on the side here. And what DJ just did, which I love, is she broke it down to the minimal things daily that creates the number of transactions. But you'll never know what that looks like if you don't track your numbers. You're never going to know what your conversion rate is if you don't track your numbers. You're never going to know. See, you're a business owner. You better start tracking your numbers. So 5 conversations a day, 1,250 conversations a year at a poor conversion of 5% is 25 sales. So if you double that, then you got 50 sales. Let's say you only have, like DJ said, now that 1,250 conversations in a year are cold calling, door knocking. That's not your database. See, if you want bigger results with higher conversions, go talk to the damn people that you know and stop hiding behind a tree when you see your neighbor's for sale sign out front, or your neighbor's sign out front that you have a relationship of 15 years, goes and lists with Keith Landry with another company. Because why? Because Keith has been sending them mail, or he's been door knocking, or he's been doing something. And then your neighbor goes, oh my gosh, Tom, I didn't even know. I totally forgot about you. What are you talking about, Chris? We just sold your son a home 2 years ago. I totally forgot, Tom. It was they were at the right place at the right time at the right conversation. All right. So, and by the way, several of my neighbors have listed with other people, and I'm like, ooh, did they not get my postcards monthly? What the heck are they doing? Right. But then I say, good for them. You know what? Good for that agent. I'll call the agent and say, congratulations on getting the listing that's right across the street from me. If you ever need anything, let me know. I'll run over there and make it happen for you so you don't have to drive over.
You know what's so interesting, Tom, is that the $1 million a year agents don't do any more than 10 to 20 conversations a day either. Like, that's the metric. It's not like if you want to make more, you have to do more. They just have team members around them also doing 10 to 20 conversations a day, right? So your ultimate success in real estate is based on your ability to have real estate conversations every day. I did have an agent that I hired one time, and we were talking about 10 conversations a day. And he was an elderly gentleman, retired. This was like, he was bored. And he goes, well, I don't think I can have 10. I said, well, could you have 5? He goes, well, I don't know about that. And he goes, I said, well, how many can you have? He says, well, I could have 1. I said, fantastic. Do 1. Because I said the same thing that I said to DJ. One a day, if it was 7 days a week, is 365. Let's say it's only Monday to Friday. That's 200. 10% of 200 is 20 closings. 20.
By the way, 20 closings is nearly $140,000. See, your average closing is around $6,000 to $7,000, depending on your area, but that's average nationally. Let me tell you something, guys. You want to make $100,000 in today's real estate market. It's not complicated. You complicate it. The person in the mirror is complicating it. Just go out and do the activities. Take action, right? Number one, take action. Number two, build your skill set as you're taking action, right? Script and role play and all that other stuff. And then trust the process. See, if you trust what Debbie and DJ said, you'll get massive results, but you complicate it. You'll talk to two people and go, that doesn't work. You'll go knock on one door. That doesn't work. You'll do one open house and not put signs up. Well, that doesn't work. Yeah. You know what will work? Go put an application somewhere if you don't want to do the work. You know, that's what I say. Claire's laughing at me. I'm not kidding you. I had it up to here with someone a couple weeks ago. I said, you are literally earning less than $6 an hour in the real estate business. No wonder you can't pay your bills. Have you thought about going to Wawa? They're paying $18 to $20 an hour. I'll never be a cashier. Well, you want to earn income like a professional, but you don't want to act like a professional. So what do you want to do? If we're not brutally honest with you guys, we don't care. If I tap you on the back and say, it's okay, Keith, it's okay. Why don't you just try this? It's okay. It will work. No, that's not how life works. Those of you who have kids, those of you who are raising kids, those of you who are raised kids, know you got to have candor, right? You got to. So I'm going to dig into something and then I'm going to open this up for you guys. I really want to do this. All right. So consistency. Consistency to me is different than consistency to you probably, right? I'm consistent in a lot of things in my daily life. Every single day I'm consistent. And I called Claire and said, I messed up, son of a gun. I was on almost 500 and something days straight reading my scripture every morning and I missed it today. Well, I didn't miss it. I read what Claire wrote because we're reading the same scriptures. So I actually read it, but it didn't get recorded into my log. So it started over. Consistency. I was very consistent. You know, I'm consistent with my health. I'm consistent with my daily routines. I'm consistent in my workload. I'm very consistent. So the results at the end of the day come in, the end of the year, the end of the week, the end of the month. So here's what consistent, I looked up a definition and there's this is consistency in business, right? So there is a book, The Power of Consistency too. I didn't even know that until I was doing some research the last 2 days on consistency. Consistency means dedicating yourself to your goals and staying to achieve your goals. Consistency requires a long commitment, okay? Commitment from you and often involves taking action. Did we talk about taking action? Repeatedly until you achieve your goals. It's also a state of mind to grind. That's the definition of consistency in business. Consistency means dedicating yourself to your goals and staying to achieve your goals. Consistency requires long commitment, not one door doesn't work, one call doesn't work from you, and often involves taking action repeatedly, okay, to achieve your goals. Some people come into the business and they make for sale by owner calls and boom, they got appointments and stuff on the contract. Some people, it takes 3 to 6 months. Some people, but here's the thing. It's not luck, it's activities. They might have got the right person on the phone that you would have gotten too, right? So that's the definition. So then I'm looking at some of the top coaches on what they're saying is important in real estate. So I just did a YouTube and I said, consistency. What's the number one thing that consistency does for a business? And I'm a big fan of watching John Cheplack. You know, he's in your face. He might cuss. He might do all these things. but I'm going to play something for you. It's 3 minutes and 43 seconds. Okay. And then I'm going to open this up. If you can listen in, fantastic, but please listen to the whole thing. Because by the way, John charges $2,000 for 20-minute sessions. I got a friend of mine that actually coaches with him, pays $96,000 a year to coach with him. 96,000. So here's the,
Tom, it's actually 4,000 for a 20-minute session. If
He
you coach
raised-
with his
holy cow.
coaches, it's 2,000 for two.
there you go. And Ali knows. Why do you know, Ali?
I coach with one of his coaches.
There you go. Was that a big commitment at first to go, holy cow, that makes my stomach feel funky to pay that much money weekly or monthly?
Oh, it still is, but it's been complete game changer for me, at least for my business.
Yeah, I'm not telling you to go hire a $4,000 a call person. I'm not doing that. That's not what I'm doing. What I'm saying is this is a person who's making millions of dollars every year coaching people. And he's got a 3-minute video here that can make an impact for you on consistency. So I'm going to share my screen and I'm going to go into it right here. And by the way, if you know anything about John, he talks about his addictions. He's been 15 years sober, I think last week. He talks about consistency in his health. He has a health and wellness coaching program now. He's 57, going to be 57 years old. He's in a shape of like a 20-year-old, right? He's consistent in his everything. Why? He's a leader, he's a coach. So you have to be consistent in order to grow. All right, so I'm going to play this.
Changing
Can you
times
hear it?
in a marketplace or an economy, there is one thing you must do. Unfortunately, most don't do it. It is John Cheplack coming to you. And after 35 years in the real estate business, I'd like to think that I've seen most, if not all, marketplaces and economies. And the one thing that I've learned is that it's not a good market or a bad market. It's a real estate market. It's not a good economy or a bad economy. It is my personal economy, and my personal economy is the choices that I make every single day. And what I want to help you with is a choice for you to make. See, what happens when there is change and people get challenged, most people go into fear and overwhelm, and that creates complications. And what you've got to do is look at and say, okay, things have changed. This is the number one thing. It's really, really simple, is make it simple. That's it. What is the simplest of things that I can do? What is the simple thing that I can change as the market has shifted? You know, if you focused and obsessed on one thing, I promise you, if there was one thing in your business you went all in on for the next 6 months, the second half of this year, the only thing that would change is everything. Now, there is a question that I've been asking for many, many years, whether I'm in front of 7,000 people or 7 people or 70 or 700 people. And the answer is always the same. And what's interesting, if you look back many, many years, there have been many, many marketplaces, but the answer is still the same. We can get so confused in this overwhelm, in this fear, and get into an emotional reaction that we don't think really, really clearly. Yet when I ask the one question, everyone gets really, really clear, and I want to help you today. I'll ask a group of people. I just did it last Monday with a top team in the world, literally, based on rankings in their franchise. I said, you can only pick one of two things for the second half of 2023. And one of these two things is going to change the game in your business, but you can only pick one. And here are the two. You can choose the need for more training, or you can choose the need for more consistency. And again, I asked it most recently in front of all of these top agents a week ago Monday. I've asked it a year ago, 2 years ago, 10 years ago. So raise your hand, you can only pick one. It could either be more training, more skill building, or it can be more consistency. You can only pick one. Every single time, ladies and gentlemen, every single time, all the hands go up when it comes down to consistency. Consistency is really simple. It's just not easy. I want to promise you, if you'll pick one thing to go all in on for the second half of this year, and you find someone to hold you accountable at the highest level, and you don't abandon and you don't get distracted, I'll promise you this, you pick that one thing, you pick consistency, the only thing that's going to change in your business and ultimately in your life is everything. Make that change, do that one thing, keep it simple.
Guys, I'm gonna put that link into the box here. And now I'm opening it up. This is your call. This is your time. I want ahas, thoughts, and here's a coach.
Did you know that you can get 50 to
Hold on a second. Here's a coach that'll fire someone in a heartbeat because he doesn't need them to pay them. He wants to make a difference for them. Yes, he's earning an income, but he'll fire someone in a minute because he has tons of people just waiting to coach with him at that cost. He's sharing his knowledge on that call, and boom, it triggered right away because he said consistency. And by the way, that was last month. It wasn't 2 years ago or 3 years ago. So I put the link in there. So I'm opening it up to you guys. What was your aha? What did you hear? And by the way, what he said in there, didn't DJ and Debbie say the same thing? Keep it simple. Find the one thing. Make the one person contact a day. The consistency. And he talked about simple, not easy, right? Fear and overwhelm will create complication. If you do the consistency, your life will change. Michael, what's up, brother?
Hey, what's going on, Tom? How you doing?
I'm well. How are you, bud?
Doing good. So the biggest thing I took from it is just to choose that one thing and be consistent with it. Me personally, I tend to overcomplicate things and try to do everything. And this really reminded me of that in particular. And there were two books that came to mind that I read a long time ago that I'm going to reread. One was The Power of Habit, and that was by Charles Duhigg. And then there was another book by Daniel Coyle called The Talent Code. And those two books I read a long time ago, but now they're even more relevant because speaking of just doing that one thing, if you continue to do that one thing and you get better and better at it over time, that is going to make you the money that you need. And I think for me, I try to do everything and I need to cut back. I actually been thinking about that. Like I need to cut back on things that's not immediately making me money. And I need to increase the time on the things that are going to make me the most money. So
I love that, Michael. And those are two great books, by the way. And thanks for bringing those back up because I always like to, I have a massive library of books on my Audible and print. And instead of trying to find a new book, why don't I just go back and look at the books that really make the difference, right? So thank you for that reminder and thanks for sharing. So appreciate it. Ruth.
Good morning. Going off of the other person that just spoke, I literally did everything and everything worked, but I'm not consistent with one specific of the work. I've done Zillow, I've done open houses, cold calls, door knocking. I've done everything at least once. And no matter whichever one you choose, as long as you're consistent, you can work on it. And I haven't been consistent with one. So in my case, I just have to pick, like you said, pick one and be consistent. Like the consistently in my business has been the biggest issue. I haven't been consistent with something that I enjoy doing in prospecting.
Yeah, thanks for being vulnerable and humble there, Ruth, because I know you take a lead and run, right? You act quickly, right? So if you're a lot like me, if you don't get the immediate results, we go to the next best thing or the next distraction, right? So consistency is very, very difficult until you become consistent. Try it for what, 66 days? What do they say? 66 days, 90 days, whatever is whatever you can do to make a difference. Like John Cheplack said, if you do it for the next half of the year, everything changes. Veronica, thanks for raising your hand.
Hey. Hi, good morning. This is my first call ever. I'm like
Welcome.
thank you. This has been super informative. I'm a baby brand new real estate agent. I got my license like June 1st or like early June. So yeah. But you had mentioned something about like fear and overwhelm will complicate things, which is obviously like as a brand new agent, I'm so overwhelmed. Like I'm, this whole week I have been consistent. I've been like, doing my GPS jumpstart checklist. I'm going through everything, but I'm finding I'm so overwhelmed that I'm scared to even dip my toe into the water. So what would you say would be like your first one thing for somebody to focus on being a brand new agent?
Veronica, thank you for being, for talking, because here's the thing. Not only just brand new agents on this call are struggling with what you're struggling with right now. So where are you, first of all, where are you located?
I'm in Boca Raton, East Boca.
Okay, so Josie's new on the call too. You got Jessica Baskey's down there. You got
She's
some.
my sponsor. Yeah, I love Jessica.
So you got Jessica there. Lean on them, watch them on how they're successful. But I'll leave. I'm going to open that question up that you have to some of the top coaches that we have, because I may be saying something that might even more overwhelm you versus them having the logical thinking of how do we simplify it for you. So anybody want to jump in for Veronica?
Tom, I am by
Yeah,
no means a top coach in any of our groups, but the thing that struck me about Veronica, and Veronica, I hope you can hear this, is that you have this amazing opportunity, being so new, to form amazing habits and consistent habits as your routine from the word go. In other words, you don't have to be 2 years into this and like undoing all the stuff in your brain that you were doing wrong. You can find some good mentors who can help you put the best habits in place from the word go. And maybe a year from now, you'll be stunningly successful because you did that.
Well, thank you.
That's that. I love
Can I-
that.
Can I
Yeah,
jump in?
DJ is awesome. Yeah, of course, DJ.
Okay, so I'm going to show you what I use when I coach with my agents, and it's so simple, and any of you can use it, and you don't even need my program. You can just look at it and you can do it yourself. It's an Excel spreadsheet. So can I share, Tom?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, you know what? I don't.
Yeah, I think.
You may be able to. There you go.
Okay. All right. Look at this. All this is, choose your top 3 forms of lead generation. Put down your activities you're going to do, the hours per week you're going to commit to each, what your game plan is, your ultimate goal. Down here, week 1 through 12, write down how many people you met, how many you added to your database, what were your successes, your lessons learned. That's it. All you have to do is keep track of it. If you are writing it down, then I'm going to stop share. If you're writing it down, you're going to do it, because you're going in and you're filling something out and you have a sense of accomplishment. So if you write in there that you talked to 5 people and you had 2 calls and you added 2 people to your database, you're going to feel good about yourself for that day. And then tomorrow, it's going to be a lot easier to do that. And every day it adds on and you're seeing that it's working. Right now, as a new agent, you're looking at what you're doing, but you're not keeping track. So you don't know that you're doing well or you're not doing well. So start keeping track of what you're doing. The only way you're going to know what works is to try.
Yeah, thank you. And I definitely have noticed too, like I do a lot of like personal development work and therapy. And like I also am able to understand that just one step at a time, one day at a time. Like I don't have to see what's at the other end of the tunnel to know that I'm just going through the tunnel. It's okay. I don't have to see the light to know that it's there. So thank you. I really appreciate that. And is there a place that I can access that Excel sheet, or did
Sure.
it?
I'll put it in Workplace for you. Okay.
Okay. Thank
Everybody
you.
can download it that wants it.
Thank you so much. I
The first, there's 2 sheets. The first sheet is setting goals for the next 90 days. I'm not a big proponent of new people setting goals for 10 years out. Should you? Yes, but right now it's like work in quadrants, work on 3 months at a time, and then make changes, move forward 3 months at a time. And then within a year, you're going to know what works for you.
Can I add something?
Yeah,
Yes, I would love it. Thank you.
Veronica, you know what? I'm just with you. I have held my real estate license for over 20 years, but I did timeshare for over 20 years. So I have lots of, you can ask me, and I held several positions in the industry, sales, management, closings, you name it, I did it all. And when I moved, because I've been in this area, South Florida, for almost 2 years, I decided to go to real estate. Then I joined a company that is called Redfin, where I was an associate agent. And it was okay for a little while, but I wasn't growing at all because I was just doing the showings. They just pay you for events. So I was just doing showings, inspections, but I wasn't really doing real estate and learning anything. Praise God for Gina Smith. I don't know if she's in the call, but she used her tortoises to hook me with EXP because I'm a dog sitter. So she used that. But the one thing I want to tell you is fear, because I feel, you know, there's this butterflies in my stomach because I come to this industry now. The whole 9 years I said, now I'm going to go all in just to find out with EXP that I know nothing about real estate. And right now I'm super overwhelmed. You know how they bombarded you with emails and this and that and yeah. So I've been in my computer more than I have been in years, learning and reading and listening to videos. And you know, and yes, it is overwhelming because I am very overwhelmed. And I'm a lot older than you. I have grandkids. 3 children, 6 grandkids. But you know what? God, are you a believer? I can tell you one thing. God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power, love, and a sound mind.
Yeah, and something I also really love is like, I've heard this, I don't know if people are going to resonate with it. Like, fear is just courage revealing itself. So like,
There
don't
you
ever
go.
push fear away and be like, oh no, I'm scared, I won't do it. Like, go towards the fear because you're going to learn something about yourself anyway.
There you go.
Thank you so much for your words.
But it's gonna push you. The fear
right.
is gonna push you to learn and you know, we can do this because I'm also a newie on this, okay? We are going to do it.
That's
Thank
good.
you guys.
I've
And
been
I love these morning meetings.
Yeah.
I've been planning since Monday. I joined the company last month, but I had to go on vacation with my grandkids and my kids. Very important.
Enjoy it.
Family is first. Family has always to be first. And that's something that EXP mentors do preach a lot, you know, your personal life, your family, those things must be first in order for everything to have balance. Like DJ said yesterday, right, DJ? We have to have balance, okay? And well, God bless you in this journey and everybody. Yes, thank you.
Thank you. A great song out there, just for anybody that has any desire to listen to it, is "Fear is a Liar." It really is. You know what? False evidence appearing real, whatever they call it, I don't know. Here's the thing I know. We're gonna have a lot of fears in everything. We're gonna have, even when you're highly successful, you're going to have some fears in other things, investments. You're going to have fear investing in yourself. You're going to have fear in the outcome. You know, there's a lot of fears that we deal with on a regular basis. How do we deal with those fears for a positive versus a negative? And facing them is the biggest thing that you can do, because you don't know what the outcome's going to be. So that's fantastic. So consistency is always going to win if we stay consistent. And the same thing, if we consistently do different things, we're going to consistently not get the results that we want. So anyone else?
Can I add to that, Tom?
Yeah.
When I was
If
new
I
in the
said no, what
business,
would happen?
when I was new in the business, it was interesting. I wanted to know other people's opinion about real estate and why they didn't trust realtors. So for my first 2 years, I always constantly called myself new. No matter how many transactions I had closed, what all was going on, what brokerage firm I was with, I wanted to know what people thought about the real estate market. And I would be intrigued by what they had said. I would get their information. I was like, you know what? I'm new to the real estate industry, and I'm so glad that you took time to help me so that I could go research this. Could I get this information back to you? And then I talked to all my friends and family. I was like, what's your opinion about realtors? What's your opinion about real estate market? It was developing that conversation so that I could learn what other people's stops or issues may be with my industry so that I could make a difference in their life. I was told in the beginning, contact everybody, mail everybody, make sure everybody knows you're in real estate. Even if you don't know all the answers, you've got a team of people behind you. It doesn't make any difference. Just talk to people. I am a talker to people face to face. Tom Martin knows this highly, right? And I'm not above making 26 phone calls a day, am I, Liz Quinones? To where I was making sure that everybody in our team was fed, So in the beginning, it was about having conversations and learning the industry as a whole. I made sure I put myself out there to see what the consumer was thinking about realtors. And I was shocked. They hated us. And I was like, well, why is that? Oh, well, I was taken by a realtor. Well, to be perfectly honest, everybody, I was taken by a realtor, and that's the whole reason why I'm in the industry. Because I don't want anybody taken by a realtor. I want us to develop a professional reputation that people want to use us and enjoy it because they're being served by our expertise. So Veronica, I hope that helps a little bit. That's what helped me in my first 2 years. So that was one thing that I did in the beginning. However, I can say this, that at the time I didn't have a coach because the current brokerage firm that I was with didn't believe in coaching. However, once I did get into coaching, I stayed more consistent, and it helped my confidence level and staying consistent because it wasn't about how many appointments or people I was getting. The wins were my conversations per day. My wins were tracking those conversations per day. My wins had to do about my money-making activities, not the results of my activities. So my lead measures, what I do on a daily basis, were much more important and much more rewarding than my lag measures, which was actually the results of me doing what I need to do. Go ahead, Todd.
Yeah, Claire, that's phenomenal because I'm going to tell these numbers, and some people will hear this and go like, what's going on with you? What's wrong? So 2,800 phone calls in 3 weeks, 148 conversations, 0 appointments. However, yesterday I got 24 conversations, and one guy actually took the time, about 3 minutes worth of the time, to say, you know what, I really enjoy your approach. I've talked to a lot of real estate agents, and they just did not have a good approach like you did. He said, even though I've got somebody else in mind, he said, you are phenomenal at your approach and continue to do what you're going to do. And I thought that was a huge, huge win because, like you said, it's not always about the conversion into a sell or a buyer. Sometimes it matters just talking to people. And that does make a huge difference. If not, they spread the word for you, and then you get better at your conversation skills.
Todd, we are a relationship business.
Just real quickly.
Yeah.
Everybody, I posted that form onto the Global Partners Icon Academy workplace group. So if you want the form, you can download it later today.
Thank you.
Claire, I have a question for you.
Hang on, Freya, I want to respond. Thank you. Hang on for your question. So Todd, you brought up something that a lot of us, Tom Martin, myself, DJ, Curtis, it's not a matter of those immediate results. It's the consistency of the actual practices and the habits that you put in place. The results will come. We know that. It's the staying consistent part. And how much intestinal fortitude do you have each and every day to make your calls and no appointments? I can assure you that when I was having 26 conversations a day, that I wasn't setting an appointment every day. However, if I didn't track how many conversations I was having, and then at the end of my quarter, looking at those numbers, I would not even know my own conversion rates, because when things get slim, just like what you said, when things get slim, if I don't know my own conversion rates on the amount of calls it takes in order to produce, I'm doing myself as a disservice. I'm a business owner. I need to know those numbers, right? I need to know those numbers. It's not about how many I get under contract per se. It's what is causing the appointments. You know, I mean, I'm a huge proponent of that. Huge. If I'm not tracking those numbers, then I have no way to make sure that there is food on my table and there's a roof over my head. Because when it all boils down to it, I mean, Coach DJ, Coach Curtis, Coach Debbie, Tom, myself can tell you, how many people are you talking to a day? That's what remains. And I will truthfully say, if you look to the left or the right of you, it is already projected that a third of the people that we see right now in the business are going to be gone come January. Is that going to be you? Coach Tom is here today to make sure that you have a business moving forward and not a business where you're getting out of the business. Just saying. He cares.
That's an interesting stat, because 75% of the realtors and brokers in the industry today have not been in the business over 5 years. And we're going to lose another 15 to 20% of the realtors between now and the end of the year. Here's the great thing. More realtors are coming into business, like a Veronica, right? So they're the ones who are going to be coming into this market and go, what do I need to do to thrive and succeed, versus the 2.5 year ago market where I sit there and people start calling me and say, hey, I want to buy. Hey, I want to sell. Hey, I want to buy. Hey, I want to sell. See, that's the difference between the market then and the market now. And that's why when we talk about consistency, people lost their consistency. They got comfortable riding the inbound calls versus creating inbound calls. So right now is the time that you have to go back and do the basics. Veronica, you don't know anything different. Here's what I do know. You just, if you're all about health and wellness, one day at a time and all this other stuff, you know, little wins each day, right? At the end of the day, I was successful at not doing this, but I was also successful at doing this, right? See, we're successful at not doing stuff too. So I become very successful every day by going, hey, I didn't drink today. Right? That's my success. I didn't, right? I didn't do it. I'm successful today because I did this, or I did not.
This is not something to brag about at all, or it is, but I failed the real estate exam 4 times before I passed it on the 5th try. And everyone's like, oh my God, like I would have given up by then. I'm just like, I was consistently, yeah, exactly. Like you're just like
I consistently failed.
Yeah, I was just consistent. I just kept studying, and every time I just learned like, okay, well now this is what I need to study, and then I just kept going until I got it. So yeah, definitely like being consistent. It's not that yeah. So I agree, but thank you.
Hey, and by the way, Veronica, you're not alone. I might have failed 6 times. I don't even know, but it took me.
It's the hardest. It was the hardest thing I've ever done, and if you know me personally, you know I've done a lot of hard things. That's a hard test.
Well,
You know, let me, here's something to think about, a visual. Do you remember when you were a little kid and you ever heard about the hare and the tortoise? And the tortoise took their time. They were consistent. He very slowly.
My dad tells me that every time we have this conversation, the tortoise and the hare, the tortoise and the
Yeah,
hare.
the tortoise or the hare, right? And so,
Always.
and I had this conversation actually this morning at coffee with my husband, and I was talking about, because I struggle with this too, is like, I don't like follow-up, and I don't like continuing to call the same people and talk to the same people. And he's like, what's the difference? You know, and so, and I said, here's the problem with salespeople, is that we think when we meet you and we talk to you, that you're going to remember us for the rest of your life. And that we don't have to call you again, and we can go find somebody new to talk to, and we can learn all about them, and they're going to know about us, and they're going to remember us. And he looked at me like I'd lost my mind. He's like, really? You think that? And I was like, we do. We think that we make an impression and people are going to remember us, and we don't have to do anything after that. And so part of that is just reminding ourselves on a daily basis, they forget us. As soon as we walk out the door, they forget us. And so if we are not consistently coming back into the world and sharing something of value and being in front of them and what we call top of mind, then like Tom said, they're going to list with somebody else. They're going to go to a home development and buy from the rep there, because we did not take control, and we weren't consistent, and didn't keep our number. Didn't know our numbers. So, all right, there you go. I'm done. It's almost 9:30.
Can I add something real quick to that, DJ? Because you just blew up my mind into a huge mindset situation. So I apologize. Here's what's so interesting. What piqued my mind. So how many of y'all on this call remember the name of your primary physician? Y'all don't remember the name of your primary physician?
I know my primary physician from when I was a little kid.
Okay, let me ask another question. The last time you bought your car, do you remember your salesperson?
I do, because I bought the last 5 cars from the same person.
So do I, because they stay in touch with me. But here's what resonated in my mind. Are we being real estate practitioners, or are we being sales associates? I choose in my business as a business owner that I am practicing real estate, and I'm a real estate advisor and professional. I want them to come to me. How do I develop that relationship? I let them know that I advise them on their real estate. I let them know that no matter if they're buying or selling or whatever, I am there for them, because I do want to remain top of mind, DJ. So that's the reason why I do follow up. That's the reason why I do follow through, because how many of y'all have financial advisors and they're giving you updates on your portfolio every quarter? How many of y'all have accountants who are calling you saying it's time to come in before your taxes? How many of y'all have the professionals in your life that you know their name, you know they're on their calendar, and there is no way you would ever forget who they are? Do you want to be that way in all of your people's lives? So DJ, you just unlocked a huge little thing in me. However, it was important to realize that what I am doing, I need to stay consistent with. Thank you, my friend, because I am not a salesperson. I am a practitioner and I'm an advisor. And everybody who knows me within my spirit comes to me for their advice about their real estate. Boom. Thank you, darling.
Can I ask the question?
Go ahead, Freya.
Remember the conversation we had yesterday about everywhere you go, if you go to Publix, Home Depot, here and there, organizations, and then you hand people your phone. Oh, you know what? Whatever you start the conversation with, and finally you get their contact and all of that. Do you get those contacts and you download them in that database that you have about the conversations? Now, after that, do you call them? Do you reach out to them? How will you start that conversation? And I actually asked, because you were guys talking about a script. So I asked if there is a script that you use. In timeshare, we do use a script for everything. Of course, you do it differently every time based on who you have in front of you, but it's like a roadmap. You follow me? So, yes, tell me, what do you do?
So yes, so typically my conversations lead to knowing what somebody's address, email, and phone number are. And I currently make sure that they receive a handwritten note. I also place in the mail the real estate review that I promised them, that I emailed to them with a little bit more fluff and stuff that's around their property, so that I can set that appointment to talk to them about their real estate holdings. So then beyond that, they go into my database, which is tasked to me, that they're called 3 times a year, period, end of story. I stay in touch with them. If they choose to want to receive any email campaigns, they're put on that. I ask them ahead of time. So yes, I stay consistent with my people. And this is the reason why I stay consistent with my people. And I know that Tom had a hard stop. He appreciates everybody on this call today. Here's what's so crazy. Because I stay consistent with my database, in 2019, I had to completely stay home to take care of a family member. I still closed 32 deals that year just because people called me and said, I must list now or I must buy now. I did not make any phone calls in 2019, except for the fact that I was returning calls to people who needed my services immediately. Because I have been consistent with that, okay? DJ?
Yes, ma'am. Good job.
I was gonna say, you want me to cut the live and everything, because I can do that.